we need to be clear what we mean by traditional education. So it's content heavy, teacher driven, didactic, what in English we call chalk and talk. Everything goes via the teacher. The problem with traditional education is that while it works for a minority of young people, in particular, it works for young people who have three characteristics. Number one, they're intellectually inclined. They enjoy intellectual learning, abstract discussions, debating, and so on. Secondly, school tends to work well for people who are sedentary, that they like sitting still. But not all people do like sitting still. Some people have to move to think. And thirdly, particularly high school, is good for people who are happy to stay juvenile for a long period. So my problem with traditional education is that it is elitist in a particular way. It selects for youngsters who have certain characteristics, and for them it's fine, but for others it's not fine at all. The role of knowledge and the nature of which knowledge should be taught in school depends critically on clarity and consensus about the purpose of schooling. But education should be a core set of mindsets or dispositions or human aptitudes that will be useful to you, whether you're going to become a neurosurgeon or a shepherd. There are all kinds of things that we could maybe argue are valuable kinds of knowledge, which may not be part of the traditional curriculum. Are we teaching useful knowledge? We're not just only interested in filling people up with interesting tidbits of knowledge. As your question says, we're interested in a learning process that fosters the capacity for lifelong learning. As far as we know, all there is inside your head is vast neural networks. And knowledge, such as it is, all knowledge, all skill, all expertise, all values, all interests, can only be represented in changes in the functionality of those neural networks. So memory contains values, memory contains attitudes, memory contains interests, memory contains beliefs and opinions. And the neural network model, as far as we can tell, is more fruitful and more appropriate and more positive for thinking about education than the old-fashioned, discredited notion of memory as being like a digital computer. So I tend to talk now more about the learning power approach. So I'm firmly of the view that education should be equipping all young people with the knowledge, the skills, and the dispositions, or you could call them habits of mind or character strengths or 21st century skills. So the learning power approach, which, as I say, is like an emerging coalition or an emerging school of thought from different centers around the planet. So we can still be teaching the traditional subjects. We don't have to get away from those. We can still have the traditional examinations because we're not going to get rid of all that apparatus anytime soon. But we change the value system from it being about the retention and regurgitation of knowledge for its own sake. And so we're working with what we call the Magnificent Seven learning dispositions. And they are curiosity, perseverance or persistence, concentration, being able to focus your attention, imagination, critical thinking, communication and collaboration with other people, and a mindset of quality, and that ethic of craftsmanship is something that we should help to cultivate in all young people. I think that the future of 21st century education lies in the cultivation of those attributes, not in any kind of smart machine. So we have to have an evolution, not a revolution in thinking about education. But we need real clarity about where that revolution is heading and what are the little steps that are required to take it there. So we need those models. We need a model of the purpose of education. We need a model of pedagogy. We need a model of curriculum. We need a model of assessment. And we need a model of school development. Big part of that issue for school leaders and administrators is to work to help parents understand this shift.